Today's video is going to be a little bit more experimental than the usual content outpost, but hopefully it'll still be interesting for you guys. I left out a little bit of information from yesterday's video on exactly what happens at the end of the process of SLA 3D printing. After it rises out of the resin and you pop it off the build plate, you spin it up in isopropyl alcohol to wash off any unwanted resin that clung to the part as it rose out of the goo. Then, after a while of that, you bombard it with some ultraviolet light on a turntable to make sure that every part of it is fully hard. The reason we do this is twofold. It really makes the skin of the part rock solid to further insulate against chipping and scratching. Until it's baked, the print is just soft enough that it'll pick up fingerprints, and after curing they'll be set in. So if you care about finish, it's important to handle the print with care during those final steps. But more importantly than fit and finish is safety. The liquid resin is quite hazardous to work with if it directly touches your skin, and prolonged and repeated exposure to it has the horrible side effect of actually making you allergic to the stuff. So much so that when it's progressed far enough, you pretty much can never work in the same room as it again, as your body will react adversely to even smelling the fumes. Anyway, with the safety precautions addressed, let's get on to the idea for today's video, and why all that talk is relevant. We won't be designing or building anything today, but we will be making use of the UV curing station to try and cast the liquid resin into molds. The eventual goal is to be able to 3D print the molds, but as a simpler exercise with fewer potential issues, I wanted to try out two different materials first. After borrowing a pair of small cookie cutters from my grandmother, some clear and rigid plastic from a disposable to-go container lid, and a generous amount of hot glue to keep everything watertight, we end up with a pair of molds. One metal and one plastic to try and remove any confounding factors in the process. I baked each one individually for 30 minutes, and then when they were hard enough on both sides to not leak, I did another hour with them together and leaning upright, so the light could hopefully better penetrate to the inside. Unfortunately, despite both sides being rock solid at the end, the liquid inside never fully cured. It's possible that running it for much longer might do the trick, but with how fast the surface level cured, I'm not too confident in that plan. What I do think will work in the future, though, will be trying to pour in a little bit of resin at a time, maybe a quarter of an inch or so, curing that, then repeating until the mold is full, and I suspect that'll work better and faster. I'll experiment with the idea further on my own, though, and come back to make a video when I have something concrete and interesting to showcase. Unfortunately for Grandma, I don't think she'll be making any more cookies with these cookie cutters anymore. So if you're watching, sorry about that. For everyone else, stay creative, and I'll see you tomorrow with something new.